Eric Hutchinson. Welcome to the Bing Lounge. It's really great to have you here. I just heard about this really hot trend where if you have to sort of dress a little bit conservatively, you can rock your socks. And I see that you are.
I'm a sock rocker,
You're
I
a sock
suppose,
rocker.
yeah.
I don't know if our cameras can get onto those socks, but that's really pretty cool. Your new album is going to be coming out in April, Moving Up, Living Down. And there's got to How does that, deciding on what you call your album, it's just like, oh, I really, do I have to do that? You know?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's something as I was working on the album, writing and recording, it's always kind of there for me, thinking about it. And this was sort of a phrase that had been kind of sticking around for a while, and eventually it kind of just came to me, you know. It's sort of moving up, living down. Is the whole album is about kind of growing up and settling down, or kind of just my transition trying to find young adulthood. You know, when I made my first album, I was still living with my parents in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and then since then I've moved to New York City, and so it was about a lot of transitions, you know.
Yeah, so it kind of encapsulates, it comes to you. That's kind of a cool thing. You've said that your goal for albums and when you're working on a new one is really not to make the same one, but yet have it be something fans are really liking. Yeah, that's Eric Hutchinson, but so what do you consciously have to do? I mean, are you sitting down in your basement writing lyrics, or, you know, like you were just singing the song? What happens when you're like going, okay, I'm going to move a little differently?
That's an interesting question. I sort of feel like my music taste just changed a little bit, you know, and I want that to be reflected. And I mean, I don't want to make the same album again, as you said, and I want it to feel like me, but I want it to feel like the next step. I mean, the people that I really love, like my favorite musicians of all time, are the Beatles and Stevie Wonder and Paul Simon, people that every time you saw them, they were doing something a little different, but it still felt, you know, like them. So to me, that's kind of finding my voice, but being able to explore and see what other kinds of music I can make.
Now, you worked with a couple of interesting producers, and for those of us who are just liking the songs and getting to know what this new album is going to be about, you know, what do you do? You know, who picked them for you? Who were they, and what did they do for you?
Yeah, it was really, I mean, because the first album I made independently, so I was handling a lot of that stuff myself, and then that album eventually got picked up by Warner Brothers label, which was really cool. And but this was the first album I actually got to make with them involved. So, you know, we had a bigger budget and more access to people that I really was excited about. And I did half the album with Martin Terefe, who's based in London. So I got to go live in London for a month, which was awesome.
Very cool.
And, you know, just kind of get to soak up that city. And I think a lot of that energy is in those songs. And he did Jason Mraz's last record and KT Tunstall, stuff like that. And I did the other half with Mike Elizondo, who's based in LA. So I went and lived there for a month, and you know, he's done Fiona Apple and Maroon 5 and stuff like that. So, and we got along really well because, you know, he's a huge Beatles fan too. And
so you kind of knew where you were coming from.
Yeah, I personally think I always get along really well with Beatles fans because I think there's sort of an implicit way we understand that a producer and musicians will work together and everything. You know, it was really cooperative and, you know, just bouncing ideas off each other. And I mean, both he and Martin, it was great to be put in an environment where I could really just get creative, you know, and not have to worry about how the sonics of it and you know, they handle all that stuff.
Maybe they're kind of helping you along. Let's try this, or give it more volume here, or something different.
Right, and they bring in amazing musicians to play on the stuff too. And yeah, I mean, it was never for a second did it leave my brain that here I am making a record for Warner Brothers Records. You know, I mean, it was, I feel very privileged.
Wow, being able to be steeped in all that in London and Los Angeles and all that kind of stuff. You know, your songs, since I first heard you ever, you're all about melody, you're all about a song, you're all about a beat, and great lyrics, like your first singles. Just.
Do you write bios? Amazing.
No. I'll write one for you if you want. But do you remember when the first time was that you went, I like this? Were you like a little kid? You know, I mean, what was that first glimmer?
Yeah, I mean, it was something I just always liked doing. The first song I wrote I was 8 years old, and I just liked singing. And my music teacher at school suggested maybe we should write it down. So she...
Smart woman.
Yeah, I mean, Mrs. Burnett. If she's here tonight, I'd be very, very surprised. She lives like 3,000 miles away from here. That'd be really impressive. But, you know, so she wrote down the sheet music for the song, and I actually still have it. It's framed in my office, you know, and I still see it when I'm writing and everything. So, yeah, it was just a really cool start, and I just always loved music so much, you know, and I love singing, and I love creating, you know. I love being able to sit down one day and there's nothing, and then at the end of the day, there's a song that I kind of created. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, 8 years old, and now here you are. Eric Hutchinson in the Bing Lounge.